Welcome back to Punk Rock Theologian. Today we're kicking off a series on Advent. For those of you without a traditional church background, you might not be particularly familiar with this. Advent is part of a liturgical calendar. It's the 4 Sundays leading up to Christmas, and it just represents this season of anticipation. The term Advent actually means waiting, and it's a callback to how the nation of Israel was waiting for their promised Messiah. That's why Advent leads up to Christmas, when that waiting, that expectation was finally realized. So each of the 4 weeks has its own theme, and our first one is hope, which is a little bit funny to me because although the word hope is very common in Scripture, like in the New Living Translation that I often use here, it shows up 190 times. But curiously, none of those are in the Christmas story. The narratives in Matthew and Luke never include the word hope or anything that translates that. In any of my favorite translations, I checked half a dozen of them, nothing is showing the word hope in the Christmas story. We'll see a bit later that that actually makes a bit of sense, but first I need to explain to you what the Bible means by hope, because it's not the same way we use that word today. When we say that we hope something is going to happen, that in itself is an implication that there's a realistic chance that it won't. That's why we're saying, well, I hope that it does, because it might not. That's not what the Bible means by hope. A better way for us to understand it would probably be words like trust or expectation or confidence. When the Bible speaks of us hoping for something or that we have this hope, it's talking about an assurance, something that you know is going to happen, even if you don't know all the details about it. Like if you're driving down the road and something happens right in front of you, you hit the brake pedal with hope. That's an expectation that it's going to stop. You don't hit the brake pedal going, well, I hope this is the right thing to do right now. It's not, I hope this is the correct pedal to step on, but you have an expectation. Now, there can be a lot of factors like the road conditions and how good your tires and brakes are and stuff like that that may determine how well that's going to work out for you, but you have an expectation that hitting the brake is what's going to stop the car. That's a concept of hope. There can still be uncertainty with what it's going to look like, how it's all going to play out, but it's a confidence that this will happen. That's why when Israel was waiting for their Messiah, it was this hope. There was a hope that he was coming because God had promised it. It will happen. There was so much they didn't know. They didn't know exactly what it would look like. They didn't know when it was going to be, but they knew that God's promise would be fulfilled. And that's the importance and significance of hope. That's why one of the most common places you find the word hope is in the book of Psalms. There's so much about putting my hope in God, but you could easily replace that word with trust. It's not about these vague kind of dreams, but it's about having something that you trust, that you fully expect to do what it says it'll do. Like Psalm 31:24, it says, "So be strong and courageous, all you who put your hope in the Lord." Psalm 62:5, "Let all that I am wait quietly before God, for my hope is in him." One of my favorites is Psalm 71:14, "But I will keep on hoping for your help. I will praise you more and more." That phrase, hoping for your help, that's not, gosh, I hope that he will help me, but it's, I'm confident and I expect God's help because I trust him. To put it in Christmas terms, it's not at all the idea of, I hope I get this or that specific present for Christmas, but it would be a lot more like the expectation of looking forward to Christmas morning and the joy of what that experience is going to be. No one's going to say, I hope Christmas happens this year. Like, December 25th will arrive. We all expect that to be a thing. There might be a lot of details about it we don't know yet, but we know that this is going to happen. That's a hope. It's a trust and a confidence. It's this expectation. Christmas represents the coming of the Messiah. This is what Israel had been waiting and hoping for, trusting with this confident expectation that it was going to come. And now it has happened. So it's not something to hope for anymore in that first coming. Now as Christians, we're hoping and waiting for his second coming, for the completion of our redemption. Romans 8 describes this so well, starting in the middle of verse 23. "We too wait with eager hope for the day when God will give us our full rights as his adopted children, including the new bodies he has promised us." We were given this hope when we were saved. So this is the stuff we're hoping for. This is what we're waiting for. And it's not, gosh, I hope that that'll actually happen. But again, it's this confidence of, I know it will happen. I don't yet know what it will look like, but I'm just waiting for that to happen. But I love that he continues with a little bit of an explanation. If we already have something, we don't need to hope for it. But if we look forward to something we don't yet have, we must wait patiently and confidently. That is the definition of hope from a New Testament perspective. Even an Old Testament perspective, really. And I think that might even explain why hope doesn't show up in the Christmas story. Because by the time it's happening, it's not hope anymore. There is no hope for something that's already here. The Christmas story is all about Jesus arriving, but this hope is waiting for something we don't yet have. That's the idea, and that's our focus, because just as much as they waited for Jesus to come the first time, we're waiting for him to come again. Just don't get confused by the modern context and meaning of the word hope. Our hope in Jesus is not a maybe. It's not a wishful thinking. It's not an I wonder. It's a sure thing, and it's something that we can wait confidently and patiently because we know that we can trust the one who made the promise. That is the meaning of our hope.